And then, so who wants to go first? Just telling us who you are and what your go-to strategies are and what you're
I'll go ahead and do
involved
it.
in. Okay.
Cool.
So let's see. Software engineer by day currently. I won't say where because reasons. And basically right now I'm shorting everything. Actually, not Tastytrade way. I'm just buying puts.
Yeah.
I'm all in on that. Not like all in. It's $7,000 worth. But I look at the returns and it's ridiculous. So anyway, that's my quick introduction. That's what I'm doing onward and upward.
John, how about one of the Johns?
Yeah. My name's John. I have smaller accounts, sub 10,000, so 5 to 10. My main strategies have mainly been, defined risk in some of the big ETFs. But in the lower priced underlyings, like some of the oil ETFs, I've been able to go naked to really take advantage of the Tastytrade way, and that's what I've been trying to do. And yeah.
What do you do when you're not trading?
Oh, I'm an equity research associate.
An equity research associate?
Yeah, we're for an investment bank.
Okay.
We're just glorified name callers, pretty much. We just say bye regardless.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's when you get on the phone with us, that's when you hear the good stuff.
You're like a junior Kramer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome, John. And who's next?
I'll go next. This is John Yope. Yope runs with Hope and some other stuff. I'm retired. I'm a mathematician.
Nice.
I worked as a quantitative engineer for many years in the defense industry. I've been retired for 9 years. I've been a swimmer since 2003 and an equity investor before that. And basically, I hang around the house.
Did you say you were a mathematician, John?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I do not get scared away by any of the quantitative stuff that flies by either on Tastytrade or other stuff that I read, all this gamma stuff and whatever. I kind of understand all that.
Yeah. Wow. We need to.
I put it in again. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
Should I put the other stuff in?
Yes, please.
What are you doing right now in the markets, John?
Well, I'm primarily an index trader because I like things simple. So I've been trading the S&P and the NASDAQ for years, right? I guess I got that way when I was still working so that you could easily find quotes, right? And follow what your portfolio is doing. And what I've been doing now is basically covered puts, right? And the way I do that is I'm short the MES future and I sell SPY put spreads against that. So it's a mixture of short MES and short out of the money SPY put spreads. And it's just a matter of how far out of the money the put spreads are and how wide they are. I just modulate those parameters and that changes the delta of that position.
What's the MES?
It's the micro ES future.
Oh, the micro ES.
Right. So the micro ES fits well with a one lot of a SPY put spread.
Oh.
Notional of 5, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. What's that, John? Or Timothy?
It's the 5. It's 5 to 1. So every time it moves one tick, it's $5. So
Yes.
regular ES is 50. Micro is 5.
Correct. Right.
I see. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm immediately, I think it's part of good networking is getting to know kind of who people are and being able to use them as part of kind of as thought leaders for our ideas and things. Well, I'm Dale Perryman, and I've been doing corporate training in development for 25 years and have been involved in investing. I bought my first mutual fund in 1988 and had to drive to the library to research it because there was no internet. And now, in 2000, I was kind of a buy and hold guy until 2008. And with the big crash, my friend said, well, it worked for a hedge fund. What are you doing to hedge? And I said, what's a hedge? And started selling covered calls was my first strategy in probably 2009, and then through probably 2012, and then started opening up my strategies. I think I met Tastytrade somewhere around 2015. And then, so now I trade 11 or 12 accounts now, all of them friends and family as a volunteer. And Mike and I know each other. So we've been kind of working on kind of a site that helps us to measure some things and network. And so right now we're running just for fun with a group of my poker friends, because that's another thing I do is play poker. And we've got 10 poker players on, primarily poker players, that are running a options trading contest. We did like $100 buy-in. It's almost like a fantasy football kind of thing, running a paper trader. So we started off with $250,000, and there's one guy on there that's just a big YOLO bettor, and he's run it up to over $1 million just in paper trading. So I'm not sure that any of the guys are really learning about good strategies, which is a downside for us because we were really trying to promote education and learning, but we'll see how that goes in the future. So that's me.
Cool. I'm Mike Carmindra. Like Dale said, I've known him for a while. We're working on some stuff for traders. I'm a entrepreneur slash software developer slash my day job is a software engineer, but I trade and I build stuff on the side. So hopefully,
and you were a tennis player before at least COVID.
Yeah. I was an avid tennis player and haven't done that in a while. But I've traded pretty much every strategy in the book, and I'm trying to figure out right now. Actually, right now, I'm trying to figure out what really is my go-to strategy. And I've done a ton of strangles, and I've done the whole Tastytrade way, and I think that has its value, but I don't think that's the end-all be-all strategy. Short premium could really get you in trouble in times like these, and I've seen it happen with a lot of tasty traders. So I'm trying to figure out how to prevent large drawdowns with different strategies, and I'm trading diagonals right now. So that's me, and I'm still figuring out what I exactly will do in the remainder of 2020. I want to be short, but it's a tough trade right now, so figure that out soon.
So maybe now if we just do kind of a round table of kind of what, and some of you already mentioned kind of your strategies that you're doing or currently, if you didn't mention that, then we just kind of have some popcorn around.
Well, also maybe I was wondering, like, is there anything in particular that you guys are trying to get out of this?
Yeah, or desired results of our Zoom get-togethers.
Yeah, I wanted to. I found it really interesting. Just the discussion of just some of the alternatives for some of the Tastytrade methods. Just because, as a follower and being part of the Tastytrade Slack, I always like, we're all contrarians at heart, and so I like to even be contrarian of the own Tastytrade method, and I want to hear how you guys have, been contrarians to the actual methodology and what ways, whether it's in sizing or in strategy or in underlyings or, just what ways you guys are kind of going away from the grain.
I like that. What do you guys think of the whole Tastytrade philosophy and, what they teach and all that stuff?
I liked it to start with. Well, yeah, for me, it was like all all the learning and
Mhm.
you know, kind of dipping in and like really the way they taught it all was I think good, and I think I posted a couple days ago was like it works great if IV is like swinging around between like 14 to 25 or whatever,
Yeah.
and those kind of environments, and
That's
then
actually about that's the kind of not the range I was actually thinking too.
yeah.
Somewhere around there, right? Yeah.
And then, but
It gets
in
higher
these
than that.
crazy, yeah,
It gets
yeah,
tough. It gets tough.
or gets too low. If it gets too low, then you're just
Yeah.
blowing out all your calls. And then when I started all my calls, when I had an entire year of all my calls being blown out, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do something
Yeah.
different.
Right.
And then,
Right.
what is that? And that's still an ongoing
And
question.
and the problem was for the most of Tastytrade life, it's been in the low 15s. The volatility until
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
So they've had some bad timing in terms of like, teaching this in a really low volatile environment was setting people up for trouble.
There's
So,
also the conflict of interest there, where they're like,
yep.
iron condors are great for commissions,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that, but you know, but then they started to have the lowest commissions on the market. So it's like,
Right.
okay, I'll still use them as a broker,
Right.
and
Right.
because Toss is like, oh, you want to trade futures? Fuck you. You know, so and where Tasty works is like, oh yeah, whatever, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, so but so I've certainly gone off the rails. I still use that as a core idea, like, oh, I'm going to try putting on a strangle. I definitely think
Yeah.
strangles are the way are great, and all in my ags and stuff, I tend to use strangles. So wheat, corn, and soy, it's usually strangles in there. Natural gas usually strangles.
Well, Timothy, it
that's where I'm
sounds
at.
like we are trading similarly. I'm a follower of Tastytrade. I still like their stuff, even though it's been painful for me. There's been moments where I've questioned things. I tend to find more opportunities and probably trade larger and bigger and more of my account than I should at times. But I love strangles. I've kind of gone from 20. I used to sell 20 to 30 delta strangles, and with the volatility, I've started selling 10 delta strangles in high vol things. And I think if I was to say the 3 or 4 strategies that I use most often is poor man's covered calls for bullish strategies, for things I'm bullish on, poor man's covered puts for things I'm bearish on, and then strangles for things that I'm neutral on. And I vary anywhere from, my goal is to vary anywhere from minus 200 beta weighted deltas to positive 200 beta weighted deltas in my trading account, which is now a $50,000 trading account. But the other 10 accounts, some of them are larger. IRA, obviously, I use Toss, so I can't trade strangles. So I do iron condors on neutral strategies there. And sometimes I'll sell naked puts on things if I need some bearish beta weighted deltas. So that's kind of my go-to strategies. I went from being very bearish to, when there was a crash to the upside, I didn't see this V. First, I think that I was in a bit of denial on the severity of COVID, and then thinking that it was going to bounce back. And then when I started realizing the severity, I went bearish just in time for the 30% swing up. So that made me uber bearish when it crashed to the upside. And then now with the kind of then once I almost gave up, like it's not going to correct, then it's swingy in some of my timing. Not that some of it's hindsight thinking, but it's caused me to be swinging from overly bullish to overly bearish, and when to make those adjustments is challenging.